Hello. I just had an adventure. I thought I wasn't going to be with you today. The YouTube program here kept telling me my camera was being used by some other application. I am so glad I am able to be with you. And it's just a reminder of, one thing I talked about yesterday. Every day I say, see you tomorrow. And that's assuming that everything's going to work out, the technology's going to work out, life is going to work out. And sometimes things get in the way. This makes me actually doubly grateful that I get to be part of your journey today. Now, this is something of a challenge for me because we actually went through all 18 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita before the retreat. And we were really looking at what's your path, how these 18 chapters describe 18 different approaches to the spiritual life, to your daily life. And as I was starting over, I'm thinking, oh my, I hope I remember what I said before so I don't necessarily repeat it. But then it's also sometimes good to hear things again. And you might hear them in a different way. The one thing I'm going to say to you, which I've heard for so much of my life, and I don't even know if it's true. I'm thinking it's true from my personal experience. But here in the United States, we've been told for a long, long time, decades and decades, that breakfast is the most important meal of the day. I know in other countries it's not such a big deal. For example, when I was in Italy, the breakfasts are small, maybe just a little shot of espresso and a croissant, or no, what's a nice Italian pastry? Well, anyway, so many to choose from. Anyway, you had a little something and you got on your way. And that made me realize, just reflecting on this, that it's not necessarily the size of what you're taking in, but the quality of what you're taking in that can constitute a good breakfast. And when we look at the words break and fast, it really does mean, for most of us, we sleep and our bodies don't take in food as often as usual during the nighttime. I know myself, I'm eating as many of you know, 2 to 4 hours. 4 hours seems to be the max. That gives my body a lovely chance. And then the idea of breaking the fast. The body's had a chance to rest, assimilate, and now it's just jonesing to put something new into it. The idea of the good break fast is what you put into your body after its rest can be hugely important in determining how the rest of the day goes. And as I mentioned, it's not necessarily quantity, it can be quality. And as I was sitting today eating a breakfast I found very nourishing, it struck me that it's not just the physical level on which we break fast in the morning. And breaking fast here in this country, at least, has become, something of a matter of convenience that we rush through sometimes, or we even skip. It's something that's in the way of getting on to the good stuff. And I reflected on that with other aspects of my being. I'm conscious often about what I'm putting in my body food wise, but what am I putting in my mind after a time of rest? The mind gets to rest. The mind also digests our experience from the previous day. And why don't we look at the breaking fast of the mind as at least as important, if not more so, as the breaking the fast of the body? Now, one tradition that I've studied, actually, there is an acknowledgement of this because you're encouraged as soon as you get out of bed to do certain things. One could be setting an intention for the day. How do you want your day to go? And then that has your full attention in the morning. You're not distracted. You wake up before other things happen, ideally, then you go, here's my intention for the day. Another recommendation is that you do mantra. It could be a Sanskrit mantra. It could be a mantra in English, in Latin, in your native tongue. Could be associated with a religion, a spiritual tradition, or just words that inspire you. And you mentally repeat that for a time. The first thing you do before you get out of bed and do anything else. And it really struck me this morning that how important that is. I, being a doer, often wake up and the first thing I think of is, what am I going to do today? And having these guidelines can help my mind break its fast in a much more pleasant way that engages me differently in the day. So as we go about restarting our trip through the Gita, maybe this can give you an idea of how you break your fast. One of the reasons I like to do this in the morning, now in the winter, this is much closer to me waking up than in the summer when I've already been up for hours, yay. But doing something like even keeping a Gita of your choice by your bedside and reading one of the verses, or waking up and depending what time zone you're in, watching this video, get you going. How will you break your fast tomorrow before we meet again? I'd love to check in with you on that. It's raining. When I had a cousin who lived in Hawaii for a time on the island of Oahu, and every day that I was there, the weather was the same. One of the first things that happened in the morning is a gentle rain fell, and it nourished the earth and broke its fast. And if you've ever been to Hawaii, you know how lush and just vibrant it can be. That water of life, that nourishment. And I'm stepping out into some nourishment this morning. Let's practice. Switch. Every morning, every day, even the little things in life that we do, the first time we do them during the day, it's like we fasted from them from the previous day. So as we do our contemplation, I do invite you to reflect upon how would you like to break your fast from one of your usual activities of the day, which could be seeing your loved one, your mate, your child. You've had time away from them, perhaps in sleep, distance. How do you want to break your fast with them? Work, your livelihood, driving, gardening. How do you want to break your fast from it and come to it anew? That first moment, how can that set the tone for the rest of your interaction today? Something to consider. See you in 5. Welcome back. Once again, I'm amazed at how the rain seems to stop for this sadhana. And I'm amazed that you return again and again. Thank you. I will have a fast from you for the next 23 hours and 45 minutes. And I look forward to consciously breaking that fast with joy and enthusiasm when I see you again tomorrow. Until then,